Right. I'm talking about now communication, or a type of communication. If you can imagine you're in a battle, a lot of weapons going off, a lot of screaming, a lot of shouting, and the biggest problem you got is hearing someone giving orders, because you don't want to shout, send reinforcements, we're going to advance, and then someone sends reinforcements because you're going to a dance. You've got to know what to do, when to do it. And there's a little platoon, and they're called drummers. Now, drummer is not a rank, it's an appointment. So you become a drummer and you call it a drummer, but it's not like the band. You are a private soldier, an infantryman. Now, again, as I said last week, I have borrowed these off a collector in the Rhondda. He doesn't want me to give his name, and I'll respect it. Now, I'll tell you a couple of things about it. Now, this bugle was issued or presented to the 1st Battalion, the Welsh Regiment, 41st of Foot, by Geskeen, Iron Steelworks. And it was used in the Welsh Regiment, and it got continued to be used in the Royal Regiment of Wales. When the regiment became the Royal Welsh, don't know why, but some of these come on the market. And they were in auction houses. And I know someone who's got 2 of them, and I want 1. So that is the earliest one, Royal Regiment of Wales, 1st Battalion, the Welsh Regiment. This one is an interesting one because it was presented to the battalion in 1938, and it was the Governor General of India presented it to the regiment on having new colours. But they're all quite unique in their own way. Now this one I've been trying to find out about because the gentleman asked me did I know who they were. And Ms. Fabel asked me, this one is the 19th Welsh, 6th Welsh, and #1 dispersal company. Other than that, the only other thing is on there is a breach, Neath is on the top. So if anybody knows anything about #1 dispersal, can they write in and let us know? Because I'd be interested and I could pass it on. The only thing that comes to mind with me, it might be something to do with the mob. But I won't bet on it. And I won't lose no money. Interesting one. Adjutant. Now, the adjutant in the battalion is quite important because he gets all communication from the commanding officer. And they have a competition once a year to see who's the best and second best buglers. The best bugler is always the commanding officer's bugle. And then you go to the adjutant's bugle. And this one is the adjutant's bugle. And it started in 1936, this particular bugle, and it finished in 1951. 1951, 70 years ago. God, I remember it well. Do I? I might not have, never. This is the commanding officer's bugle. This particular one is stamped. It is solid silver. Even the mouthpiece is solid silver. And don't worry, I will be cleaning them before I give them back, because I should be using gloves. And this one here is the name of the bugler is on there. Again, you've got the details. Nice collection. But my favourite is this one here. Plain, army issued bugle, got the crow's foot on it, got the date on it. And this was played or blown by S. Powell. Now S. Powell, and his regimental number was 9871, Bugler S. Powell. And on the side it got Ansing 1914-18. I'd done some research, or tried to do some research on him, and apparently when he left he wasn't presented with his medals for the First World War, because officially he was underage to be there. But they couldn't say he was underage because the Prime Minister had stood up in front of Parliament and said there was no underage children within the British Army. So if they turned around and said, yes there is, he lied to Parliament. But apparently he got some medals, but getting some more information about him, he might have served in the Second World War. That means his state are protected. Now, I've shown you the bugles, and there's a couple of calls, and it might be a bit crude, but this is the way that buglers learn calls. You got da 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 da, and that's food. And it's come to the cocoa store, boy, come to the cocoa store, and that's the way you learn it. Orderly sergeant or orderly officer. Dee, 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 dee. And the way to learn that is you got a face like a chicken's ass. Most of the officers I knew had was like that anyway. I might not have got the right pitch for that. It's a long time, but again, this one is a bit, and it's pull your foreskin over your head and whistle down the hall. So that's the way you learn it, because there's no you can get music for it, but not everybody reads music. You remember phrases, and the cruder the phrase, the easier you remember it. You've also got the drums, where they play on the drums. And everybody in the regiment at this period of time would know all the important calls that were blown by the bugler. And the companies would have buglers, the headquarters would have them, and they'd pass the message around by bugle calls, and everybody was happy because they could hear it and they knew what to do, when to do it and how to do it. So that is a very brief talk on the bugles. They go up in price, but that's all they are, is a piece of tube and a spent. Member of the regiment, Carlos Stevens. I remember him with a piece of tube in, plastic tube in, and a funnel at the end, and he used to play on it. I also remember him doing Reveille in Osnabrück, and he was in block 1, and it just happened that the orderly sergeant had come out of the guard room and expecting to see Carlos outside with his bugle ready to call, and the bugle sounded great, everybody heard it, but Carlos was in bed, and he had the tannoy system put up, and he had the wire into his room, and he was lying in bed playing Get Out of Bed. See? So little things like that make regiments, make history. I'm not going to tell you any more about anybody else because they might still be around to come and get me. But Carlos was a brilliant bugle player. He might have ended up with a commanding officer's bugle. I'm sure he would have. Well, best of luck to him wherever he is. I'm not going to say no more. We'll have to think up now what's going to be the next thing we do. Right. I'm not going to play Last Toast, but look after yourselves. Remember, touch, wash, cover your mouth, respect and stay indoors. Let's try and kick this disease on the head. There's enough people have died, enough people have got ill, and this is the only way that we can do our part. So until next time, so long.